Hi, this is Les Puryear, and today we're going to take a look at Ronald Reagan's jokes. Ronald Reagan was the 40th President of the United States. He was a film actor for over 50 films, and he was also a TV actor as well. He was elected the governor of California in the 60s, and then in 1980, he became the 40th President of the United States. Reagan was always good about telling jokes. About every speech that he gave, he had a joke to tell at the beginning or in the middle or in the end. So these are a few of Ronald Reagan's jokes. Hope you enjoy them.
Your question to President Reagan.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks and cast it specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience. If I still have time, I might add, Mr. Truitt, that it was Seneca or it was Cicero, I don't know which, that said, if it was not for the elders correcting the mistakes of the young, there would be no state.
Mr. President, I'd like to head for the fence and try to catch that one before it goes over, but I'll go on to another question.
On our way here in Air Force One, I was looking down over your countryside out here because most of the way from Oklahoma, I was looking down at clouds. And I could say that it reminded me of a story, but actually I wanted to tell the story whether anything reminded me or not. It was about a fella that was driving down a country road, and all of a sudden I looked out, and there beside him was a chicken. He was doing about 45, and the chicken was running alongside. So he stepped on the gas, he got it up to about 60, and the chicken caught up with him and was right beside him again, and then he thought, as he was looking at him, that the chicken had 3 legs. But before he could really make up his mind for sure, the chicken took off out in front of him at 60 miles an hour and turned down a lane into a barnyard. Well, he made a quick turn and went down into the barnyard too, and there was a farmer standing there. And he asked him, he said, did a chicken come past you? And he said, yeah. Well, he said, am I crazy, or did the chicken have 3 legs? And he says, yep, it's mine. He says, I breed 3-legged chickens. And the fellow said, for heaven's sakes, why? Well, he says, I like the drumstick, Ma likes the drumstick, and now the kid likes the drumstick, and we just got tired of fighting for him. And the driver said, well, how does it taste? He says, I don't know. I've never been able to catch one. Well, seriously, since... Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. As Henry VIII said to each one of his 6 wives, I won't keep you long. I spoke of the difference between our 2 countries. I try to follow the humor of the Russian people. We don't hear much about the Russian people. We hear about the Russian leaders. But you can learn a lot because they do have a sense of humor, and you can learn from the jokes they're telling. And one of the most recent jokes I found kind of, well, personally interesting. Maybe you might tell you something about their country. The joke they tell is that an American and a Russian were arguing about the differences between our 2 countries. And the American said, look, in my country, I can walk into the Oval Office, I can hit the desk with my fist and say, President Reagan, I don't like the way you're governing the United States. And the Russian said, I can do that. The American said, what? He says, I can walk into the Kremlin, into Brezhnev's office, I can pound Brezhnev's desk, and I can say, Mr. President, I don't like the way Ronald Reagan is governing the United States.
I hope you enjoyed those. The ones I like the best are the first one where he is talking at a debate and he talks about his age versus Walter Mondale's age. Also, I like the one about the three-legged chicken as well, but all of them I like a lot. Question I've always had, or maybe other people have had, is did Ronald Reagan create his own jokes? Was he his own joke writer? And the answer is not really. He had speechwriters, as most presidents do. Well, actually, all presidents do. And the one that really incorporated the jokes was a speechwriter named Landon Parvin. I appreciate Mr. Parvin for writing all these jokes. I enjoyed them. No matter what your political persuasion is, most people enjoyed them as well. Okay, see you next time.